everybody, it's Man James, Mr. Quinn Treasures, back again with some more video action for you. Today's another stroll down memory lane as we find out why it's great. And for those of you who aren't new to this and don't know what this is all about, why it's great is where I take a back issue from my collection and I show you why I think it's so awesome and why you yourself want to check it out. And before we get into everything, I want to thank you all for joining me and say, tomorrow is Thanksgiving, so I hope you have some good times with family and friends, eating too much and sleeping too much and watching whatever sports ball is your jam. And, just being thankful for all the great stuff that we have, including great videos like this that you're about to see. And so in that vein, I want to try to find something I thought would kind of maybe fit in a little with the holiday. And so I chose a little something that's a little more off the beaten path. It's not the usual kind of thing you're expecting here. It's a book called The Wolfpack from 1988 from Marvel. It's a different kind of series. It's not like your usual superhero stuff. And I thought it would be a little something special. As you'll see why that I chose this particular one. But this is from the great Larry Hama, man behind G.I. Joe and a lot of other stuff. But this one is more esoteric books that he's worked on, stuff like Cops the Job and Nth Man and many others. But I think you're going to like this one, and I really want to get into it. So I'll just say, again, thank you for joining me, and say that if you like what you hear here, drop a like now so you can help out the algorithms around here. Also, if you got any comments on stuff, drop them down below as well. I always want to hear what the folks have to say. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't subscribed so you don't miss any of the content that I'm putting out around here on the regular. And if you have subscribed, share out some links, and let's bring in some new people so I can get those subscribers numbers up, because that's always the goal. And so, again, I thank you once more and say let's get on into our book right now. So first thing we'll do is we'll get rid of me, and then we'll bring up the book. And here we are, Wolfpack number 2. Now, this was a 12-issue limited series. It was what they called a maxi series at the time, where you went 12 issues. And, normally I don't do this, but I thought this issue was very well done. The basic premise of the Wolfpack is about some kids from the Bronx who get involved in this sort of like secret war between these clans of ninja types, and they're trained in special skills. One is like strength, another guy has speed, another person has stealth. So they all have these special abilities that they each have. And but in this story, none of this really plays a part in the story. It's almost like it could be taken on its own. And that's what I really liked about this issue above all the others, because most of the other issues are very much tied into this concept. And this one was almost like a one-off that could have been just a slice of life story that could have been told anywhere. And I think that's why I like it so much. But you can check out here. This is a cover by Kyle Baker, and I believe it's Ron Wilson, because they're the artists of the book. Just a pretty impactful image right here. You got the kid falling off the platform about to be run over by the subway train, gun going off. Reaching out to save him. So, it kind of gets you right from the beginning, you're kind of intrigued into what is happening here, what has set up this situation. And so let's head on into it. And here we get our first page here. And we see one of our members of the team named Wheels. He's a paraplegic, and his skill was basically like being the strategic guy for the group. He's the one that does all the planning and all the technical stuff. And here he is, sitting here having a little chat with his father. He wants to have a talk with him. He goes, whatever that struck you in your crawl that's got you sit around more like a lost puppy. He wants to talk about because he's been acting a little down. And so they have the little heart-to-heart talk, about, level with me. And he said he did something that's pretty dumb, and he goes, because he feels that him being in the chair is like holding his father back, and he feels like he's his father. You gave up stuff you really love so I could have therapy and a motorized wheelchair, and so he feels like he's been a drain. And his father kind of tells him, he tells him, he's being told that he feels bad about this because of things people have said, and so he tells him to you told him you didn't want anybody feeling sorry for your son because he didn't feel sorry for himself. And you didn't want anybody feeling sorry for you because you had a son you could be proud of. And so he says, so what's the deal then? And he tells him, he goes, I've done something that I'm not proud of, something unforgivable. I set out to do something positive and righteous, and some people got hurt, which was in the last issue. And so his father, this is where we have the fatherly concern here. He goes, you can't let anything stop you from doing what you think is right. Somebody once said, all it takes for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Just don't be locked into what you think is right. Always question it. It's very easy to blind yourself with righteousness. And so, like, just the whole fatherly vibe here. I like this whole scene. Even though even though it's not very action packed and stuff, but I really love like the close up shots here, like this. Like, here we get the great image here. Ron Wilson's one of those utilitarian artists. He never really got the acclaim of some of his peers of the day, and but here inked by Kyle Baker, who, again, two styles that are drastically different, yet they come together and form something that is really kind of special, I think. And like I said, just a good close up shot right here, just a beautiful image. You can feel the emotion right there in that image. So the father says he got to head off to work, and so he goes off to work. And then we get this nice little sequence here where he's walking through, the city, through the Bronx, and you can see all the people, the barber who's his friend, the shopkeeper who are his friend, the people on the street just saying hello, and just you see, like, so he's like a man of the people almost. He's one of them, and they embrace him as such. So as he goes on, he sees the old lady at the newsstand, heads into work, and then this is where our story really starts to pick up. I'm 5 minutes late. I'll have to make up for it for surely tomorrow. And there he is at work, and this is where all of a sudden some youthful gang members get involved. You can see right here. He goes, "Gee, Jimmy, ain't that the guy that caught you jumping the turnstiles last year? Yeah, he deserves everything he's gonna get." So already we're ramping it up here. So our friend Wheels, he's at home, and he notices his father forgot his lunch pail. So he rolls on down to get it to his father. And while that's all happening, although that's when our punks here strike, they start a fire to get him to open the door so they can try to rob the place, stealing the tokens, taking his gold watch, everything. And then, he remembers who this one kid is, and he goes, "That's too bad, Pops. You should have kept your yob shut." And then he just blasts him. And of course, Wheels hears this, and the guys come running out, and then go, "More witnesses. What? A blind old hag and a cripple? You ain't seen nothing, right? You tell the cops, and I'll come back and break both your arms." And there it is. You won't be good for nothing but a doorstop. And so he Wheels kind of gets the idea of what the problem is. He knows what's happened. So there we are. Is the father is dead. We're at the funeral, and a police officer comes in. The Inspector Cassidy here, and he keeps telling him, he's telling him, why are you here hassling us? Here he is with his friends, the Wolfpack, and he's like, "Why are you hassling us? Why don't you find the guys who are responsible for this?" And he goes, "I am." He goes, "But I can't do that without help, and I'm not getting help from the people who can help the most. Wheels, I just don't believe your story about not getting to the station till after the killers had split. I think you saw who did it. I think you're planning on getting them yourself. Don't you guys ever learn? Don't you remember what happened to Slippery? Which again was revealed in the original graphic novel, which would introduce the Wolfpack." And so, like, that's the story that Wheels is kind of talking about earlier in the issue. And so you can kind of see here's this cop who kind of knows what's going on, but he doesn't have any proof of anything, and it's kind of setting the tone for everything that's about to happen here. And then you can see here, they're talking to him. "We gotta talk, Wheels. Is Cassidy right? Are you holding back on everybody? We're part of the pack, remember? All for one and one for all. You got no right to accuse me of anything, Slag. And don't pull that brotherhood stuff of the pack. Don't pull that brotherhood of the pack stuff on me, Slippery Sam. I just want to be left alone. There are things I have to take care of myself. They don't concern the Wolfpack in any way. Other people seem to understand that. Why can't you? Just let me be." So you can see he's like pushing everybody away, which leads you to believe that he is planning something, because otherwise he wouldn't be doing this. But you can see, even that his friends wanting to help him, he doesn't want their help. He doesn't want the police help. He doesn't want anyone's help. So what is he plotting? What's he scamming? Well, we're going to get into that here in a bit. And you can see here it's a week later, and the pack gets together, but again, Wheels is not among them. And they say he hadn't been in school all week. Wheels hasn't been home much either. In fact, nobody seems to know where Wheels is spending all his time these days. I think Wheels knows who the killers are, and just like Cassie thinks, I think he's out looking on the streets looking to find them. And what's he going to do when he finds them? And then he's going to kill them. And that's why we have to find them first and stop them. So now, a member of the team is now being hunted by the team because they know what he's up to. They figure what his plan is. And I like this shot here, of the central shot here of like Wheels on the streets trying to find, the killer of his father. And he does it by going to pawn shops, because if you remember, the guy asked for his watch, and so that's how he's going to try to track him down, is through his father's watch. And so he's rolling around, you know, and just the people on the street. Hey, you want to know something, huh? Life ain't fair. You hear that? And he goes, it's as fair as you make it. And so just I just like that, just the little street vibe, from the 80s New York, totally awesome, like that. So he finally gets into the shop, and here's where he finds the watch, and he uses some bully tactics, to outsmart this guy. And he goes, no, he said, no, not too expensive for me at all. This one may be too expensive for you in a lot of ways, considering I have the original bill of sale, which includes the order for the custom engraving. And then guy's like, yeah, but that could have passed down. That doesn't mean nothing. He goes, true, but the watch is also stolen during the commission of a murder, and that makes you the receiver of stolen goods and an accessory after the fact to felony murder. And so the guy, he tells him, he goes, look, he goes, of course, all that could be forgotten if you happen to remember who pawned this watch. And he goes, I think that can be arranged. That little stinker has been running his candle at both ends for too long anyway. So he's finally going to get this scam on who this guy that killed his father is. Meanwhile, the crew is out trying to find him. They're all going throughout the neighborhood. And again, just this awesome shot right here of the whole team. I just love that. It seems like a lot of people had their heads stuck in a hole in the ground when this all went down. It doesn't seem right. They were all good friends with Mr. Walensky. Maybe that's why. Maybe they're all doing this right by. Maybe they're all doing the right thing by his kin. Maybe his son asked them to keep quiet. So they're just kind of seeing like they can't get anywhere to finding him because everyone's closed up, and they're all doing it, in deference to Wheels and to the memory of his father. Showing you how deep these roots in these communities can run sometimes. When everybody knows everybody, when everybody's like family, when everybody's like almost like blood, and you make those connections, those human connections to people, and how deep they can run, and it can make people do things that they otherwise wouldn't do in any other situation. Then they eventually get to the old lady, and she goes, she goes, yes, we both heard the shot, both, then he was here. She kind of lets it slip. She goes, I didn't say that. I promise not to tell. And then she just breaks it down, but it's not right. She goes, he was here when they came up the stairs. One of them had John's watch. Wheels asked everyone to keep quiet. We owed it to his dad. He's out hunting for them. He's going to kill them. And after he kills them, their kin will come after him. It just goes on. So and again, look at that great close-up shot. Like I said, Wilson and Baker do these awesome, great close-up shots. I love that. And you can feel the emotion that's in that moment. And so you can see like how she says, after he kills them, then their kin are going to want to kill him, and it just continues. It's the vicious cycle of violence that is in like these lower rent communities, not just in New York but everywhere. And so they decide to split up, try to find them, and one person is going to go back to the complex and sit by the phone to coordinate with everyone else. And he goes, isn't the reason that Mr. Mack trained us to be the Wolfpack? We're supposed to be fighting the 9 secret the 9 street crime. It's all gone wrong. So you can see everything. It's all talking about what they've learned from their mentor who trained them to be the Wolfpack, and how things are just not, this is not what they intended it to be. So then we get in with the guys who were responsible for the robbery. We see they're just getting ready to go out and do some more damage, and of course they're being shadowed by Wheels. You can see it. But then the pack finds out who pawned the watch. So now they're quick on the trail. But the Wheels is right there behind the guys as they go back down in the subway, and then that's when the confrontation happens. They come to his house, but they see he's not there anymore, and this is where the confrontation goes down. I love this right here. He goes, "Careful when you shoot him, Jimmy. The Rico almost knocked you down last time. Don't worry, Porky. I'll have both feet planted this time. No, I won't let it happen again." And then Wheels comes slamming down the stairs, and just boom, just zooms right through. It's the crippled kid. He goes, "I'll take care of him, Jimmy." He goes, I'm waiting, Porky. Take care of me." Just boom, boom, boom. Just he seems like he's everywhere at once. The gun gets loose. And you, Ginger Boy, I'll fix him. It's just total chaos until Wheels finally gets him. He goes, you're gonna what? You're gonna shoot me like you did my dad? How many others have you killed? How many others were you planning on killing? How many years probation would you have received if they had ever caught you? Just another slap on the wrist for the poor, misguided youth. You're not responsible, are you? It was your nasty environment and upbringing. Your society's fault, aren't you? And he's like begging him for mercy. He goes, mercy. How much mercy did you show my father? How much? And I love these bottom panels right here. Not just for the got great close up shot right here in this in the next to last panel, but I love the color. The reds, orange, and yellows. Like just you can feel the rage just from the color palette that was used alone. Just a beautiful way to set this whole scene up right here. He's just dominated by his rage. It's like pouring out of him now that he has the guy responsible. But what's he do? I can't do it. I won't lower myself to your level. I can't do that to my dad's memory. Take your stinking life back and squander it any way you want. But of course, the team shows up, after it looks like it's all but over. But of course, the guy isn't going to let it end that way. And so he takes a shot. But of course, as we saw, he said he has this problem with planting his feet properly. And there you go. He falls in. And that's where it ends. Violence begets violence. The whole thing of like, you get what you deserve. And again, like right here, the main shot, just the coloring, it says it all, and I just love it. It's a great little morality tale. This one isn't big action. This isn't like, a bombastic issue like you would expect, from like a superhero book or whatever. This is much more grounded in reality. You got all that great stuff with the family vibes, and you got the community feeling and all that stuff. The people who come together as family, even if they're not, because they're all they have. And then you got the outsiders who come in to cause trouble, and then you have the kid who's going to, exact vengeance. Is he going to go down that same road as these punks, or is he going to choose differently? And the friends who are trying to watch out for him as they're trying to stop him from making a mistake. I mean, there's just so much great drama in this story. It's like I said, a slice of life from the urban streets. And I really loved the way they handled the context that they put everything into. We can all sympathize. We probably either have been or at least know someone who's probably been the victim of a crime. And how the injustice of it feels, and and how we all want to strike back at the ones who are responsible. But yet, when we're in that moment, what are we going to do? Are we going to do it, or are we going to not do it? And here he didn't in the end. He, at the very last minute, he pulls back because of what his father meant to him. The family meant more than the foe, and that's what matters here. That whole, I guess, he saw the whole family vibe between him and the pack, between him and the community, between him and his father. It's all family. And I thought this was just a great story to present to you guys for Thanksgiving being tomorrow. Just a great story of like a family vibe story that's all about what it means to have family, whether you're related or not, whether you're bound by blood or not. Family is what counts in the end, and that's what you see here. He saved himself, that his friend saved him. All this stuff happens, and the bad guy, dies at his own hands. Live by the sword, die by the sword. The whole morality tale of that. I love it, and just it's a great book. Like I said, the art may not be as bombastic as some of the other stuff that you've seen from past ones like this, but like when they really get into it, those close-ups, those facial close-ups by Wilson and Baker, like this one right here, it says it all. Even if it didn't have dialogue on the cap, on the panel, you would still feel the emotion just looking at these facial expressions. This is like probably one of the best stocks and trades that I think Wilson has as an artist, is his ability to get across the emotion of a character in so simple an image like this. That's something that's not something you can be taught in like an art school or whatever. This is something you just develop as an artist. If you either have it or you don't. And Wilson definitely has that. And it really helps in a story like this that is so focused on the personal side to people, the personal side to life, and to get those emotions of humanity across to you, to make you feel something, whether it's somberness or rage or sadness. that's really what it's about, is the emotion, and it's invested in the image and how it gets that across to you. And like I said, Wilson and Baker, they did an excellent job in the issue. Like I said, you really don't even know much. Like this right here is about the only bit you get that even connects to the bigger story, about the 9 street crime gang. So I mean, this is the whole reason the Wolfpack was started was for this. And this one panel is all you get on it. If you just took that one panel out, it almost could be like a completely separate issue that had nothing to do with the overall greater story that supposedly is going on in this maxi series. And again, that's why I love it so much, is you could take this issue on its own and just love it for what it is. Just a great, well told, like, urban crime story with like this family vibe to it. Like I said, this page right here is a great example. Again, the man of the people. He's the guy everybody knows. He's like the Norm Peterson of the neighborhood. Everybody knows him. Everybody sees him. They know who he is, and they know what he. They all like him. That's what he is here. Again, I love how this is presented to us. And again, just this moment here with him imparting the wisdom, the fatherly advice to his son about, just always stand up for what you believe in, and always strive to do good, but never let yourself be so blinded by the fact that you think you're right that you miss other things that could prove you wrong. Always be mindful and always question what you're doing and why you're doing it, so that you never fall into that trap of being blinded with righteousness. Just a beautiful lesson in there. Like I said, there's so many levels in here in this. And it's just a great story. I definitely think that it's one that, like Larry Hama, this was the best issue he did of the book, and probably the best Wolfpack story ever. I mean, I've read all the Wolfpack stuff, and this one, to me, by and large, the best one. Even if you don't get the rest of the miniseries, just pick up issue 2. Just pick up this issue, and it's just a great story in itself. I mean, give this to kids. I think this would be a great lesson for kids to learn, and just some really good stuff about, like I said, about the family vibes and the family feelings, and the way we're all sort of interconnected to our neighborhoods and our friends and everything else. It's just a beautiful story. Like I said, a perfect story, I think, to spotlight right before Thanksgiving. So definitely check it out. Wolfpack #2 from 1988. It's, like I said, it should not be inexpensive. You could buy, this is the stuff dollar bins are made of, folks. You could find this book very cheaply. It's not a very high priced book. It's not something everyone's hot to get. But like I said, Wolfpack #2. I had this story above all else. #2. Don't even worry about getting the other issues. You really don't even need them. Just this issue in and of itself is just a great single issue story. And it's the kind that they really don't make anymore, where you can get a really good story that isn't, that's full of like great character development and great character interactions, that isn't bogged down with either tons of action or, maybe some overarching message you're trying to get across, and it just sort of plays out. It's a morality play. And I think that's why I loved it so much. It was just a very well told issue. Hama, Wilson, and Baker did an excellent job here. And, it almost makes me sad that the book didn't really go much past this miniseries, because, I think if they had done more stuff like this and maybe focus a little less on that big overarching story that we see later in the miniseries here, that it probably could have lasted longer. You could have done more with it. And I would love to see it come back. This is like one of the few books I would think could make a good comeback if you had the right creative team to do a story like this, the way Hama did here. And I think that would definitely be the way to go. But yeah, Wolfpack #2, definitely one you should check out. And, again, not expensive, not going to break your bank. And again, just a great little morality story of family and friends and enemies. And there you go, Wolfpack #2, another one in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed checking that out. Like I said, it's definitely a story that, like, when I first read it, it was like very, very moving to me. And I hope it's done the same for you. I hope you got a little bit of something out of this. Again, a happy Thanksgiving to you all tomorrow. And like I said, spend, so maybe after reading a story like this, you want to spend some more time with those family members and, get a little closer to have those connections, because they matter so much. And, because they really, truly do. And I want to thank you all for joining me today. I hope you truly got something out of this one. More than any of the others I've done, I hope this one gave you a little something. And I will be back soon with some more stuff in the very, very, very near future. And until next time, take care.